Beam me up, Scotty. Wait, that's not a comm badge. Looks like a comm badge, it's not a comm badge. Welcome back to ZeekWorks. This weekend, I decided to take a break from Bender and work on the Star Trek Discovery Captain's Insignia. And I 3D printed one of those right here. And I've almost got this one finished. I just need to smooth it out a little bit more. That means more sanding. And then prime it and paint it gold. And that will be done probably next weekend. But in this video, I'm going to show you how I made the Captain's Insignia. And then I'm going to show you how I printed the Captain's Insignia. So let's take a look. All right, here we go. Here's the insignia. This is Fusion 360. The first thing we wanted to do is bring the timeline all the way to the beginning. And what I did was I added a canvas, just pulled this canvas off the internet. Now this is the new insignia that they've redesigned a little bit. You can see that both halves of the insignia have an overlap. That is not going to be in the uniform insignia. I've checked screen captures and that doesn't have that, but this does have the exact shape that I need, so that's why we're using it. So the next thing is we're going to make a sketch. This is just the shape of the insignia. Made a line just to make it into two halves. Make sure your spline comes to a corner on both ends on the bottom there. That's important, you'll see in just a second. So the next thing is to do the first extrusion. That's the thicker part. I just inserted the entire thing. You'll see in just a minute. Then I fill it, make it look nice and pretty. Then I extruded the next side, a little smaller side, and then fill it on that as well. Cut them both, and then delete, and there we go. And maybe we should combine that as well. Now there are two pieces that go together. I'm going to get rid of the canvas here, it's in the way. And as you can see, if I did not have my points on the splines come right out the corner, the two fillets wouldn't actually look right. That was one of the first mistakes I've made and found it a little difficult to fix. But there we go. Next thing is another sketch. This is the command logo because I'm going to be a captain and I'm in command. So we cut that all the way through. There we go. And another sketch. With this sketch, I made a really big circle so I could kind of get my pips in the right position. They kind of follow the curve of the insignia there. So also with this, I had some parameters set up so I can change the number of pips that I want. I can have 3. I can have 2. And I can have 1. Makes it very simple to modify this depending on what rank I want to be. The only thing that just does not change is if your pip is raised or if it's goes inward. I'm not entirely sure what the ranks mean without looking it up. I'm going to put that back on captain. There we go. See, my pips are 2.5 millimeters in diameter. The magnet diameter, which I haven't shown you yet, is going to be 6.5 millimeters. Now these are 5 millimeter magnets, but plastic shrinks. Plastic sucks that way. You have to make them bigger. I did have to experiment with that. I went from 5 to 6 and eventually ended in 6.5 before the magnet actually fit. There's some math here. This math makes the pattern of the pips kind of follow the angle there and kind of keeps them close together depending on what rank that I choose. Not really sure what this math means. I just kind of experimented and eventually figured out how to get the value I wanted. So I'm very bad at math, but I can get by. All right, that's enough of the parameters. So now we've got our pips. We're going to extrude them up. Now we're captain. Then we have to make another sketch. This sketch is going to be the magnets. And going to cut it through, it goes through the back plate as well. Let me get rid of the back plate so you can see it goes through right there. You can see it's in the back plate as well. These are 5mm by 1mm magnets that go in these. So the rest is just I moved them to different components because I did some animation in Fusion 360 just for fun. I don't need to show you that though. But that's it. Very simple. So if you were learning Fusion 360 and you wanted something fun to make that's not hard, this is probably a good one. Touches a lot of things and it's very simple. All right, now I've got to print it. So I'll show you how to print that in just a second. I'm not going to make you watch me print the entire thing because that would take probably around an hour. But I'll go through the settings. The layer height is 0.2. I want it to look kind of nice. As far as everything else, well, originally it was a honeycomb fill pattern, but I moved to something else because it just seemed like my printer was doing way too much work. It's rectilinear for top and bottom fill patterns. I will say it's 30% infill. The filament diameter is 3mm. This is the Lulzbot Mini. And I'm using high impact styrene filament for this print. I am printing with a brim up 5mm, which will be easy to remove later. After printing, it's time to start putting in some magnets. I'll show you how I did that now. So the first thing you should do is mark your magnets. I put a little X on top of each magnet before I put them down on the desk, so that way I knew which side was which. Because you need to have the opposite pole on one half compared to the other half. So that way they go together, otherwise they're going to repel each other. I don't have to teach anyone about magnets. So, put a little bit of Gorilla Glue inside the hole, then I carefully put the magnet in place. It takes a little practice because the magnets like to go together. That's really difficult, but you can get the hang of it pretty quick. The second and third one I did really fast, but the first one they kept sticking together until I figured out how to do it. And that's basically it. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me create the new Star Trek Insignia. I'll put a link to the Thingiverse download for this, so you can download it if you want to print it for yourself. As far as the magnets go, you just need 5mm by 1mm magnets and just glue them in. I just use Gorilla Glue. Is it on? Hey, it's on! Whoopee! I don't want to be captain anymore. I'm taking this off. That just fell right in my pocket. Whoops. Thought they had pips in a 24th century Star Trek. Why are there pips here? I don't understand. It's hard to believe that I've known you for 7 years. I think it's time you got your own command. Do I fit the part? Should I be in the show? Do you see a problem with this picture? I'm wearing Star Trek insignia, but I'm also wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. The problem is you can buy Star Wars t-shirts at all the stores. You walk into a store looking for Star Trek stuff and there's no Star Trek stuff. That's a problem. We need to fix that. There needs to be a Star Trek day. I don't know what we would call it. Day of Honor? That's Cleon. I just need you to subscribe and have a nice day. Bye.